In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can use the flower brushes not to make an embroidery like this in unicolor, but even in a multicolor in your own colors. So not using the patches that have prefab colors, of course, but make a embroidery of the flowers in the colors of the dress that you are making. Well, let's start with the unicolor one. I have a breast part here that I want to have this embroidery on. So what I want to do is to pick the color that I used in this base, the off-white color that I can use for the embroidery. I make a new layer on top. I go to brush and I select the brush that is here, the flower. Well, that one is much too big to start with, so opening the brush window or using F5 or going to Windows and then opening the brush window here, I can change the size, and I will change this to, let's say, 150 pixels like this. Yes, that is something of the kind, and it is now not the right angle, it wouldn't fit nice, so I will have to rotate this like this. Yes, perfect. Good. I'm going to make one imprint. I will give you the black contrast so you can see what I'm doing. Here you can see the flower layer, but you see that when I take away that black contrast, it is really, really vague. How am I going to make this more consistent so it is a real embroidery? Well, going back to my selection, I will lower it a little bit because it is a bit high like this, so the flower is halfway there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. I can do that by right click and duplicate. I can also do it with Ctrl J, and I will do that with Ctrl J, and I will make in total 3 copies of the same layer. Now I go back to the lower layer, the lowest, and I'm going to invert the selection. So Ctrl I will do the job, or image adjustment and then invert the selection. And now you can see it has this more consistent look, and if I take away the black contrast, you can see that it looks already a bit better. Having these 3 layers done like this, I can merge them. Here, merge the layers, and now I will give them a little drop shadow. And to do so, I can click here on the FX or double click the layer, and then I get here the drop shadow. This is drop shadow window. Well, this drop shadow, as you can see, is far too heavy, and it is far too far away from the dress to be realistic. So I'm going to change that a bit. I'm going to change the color, and I will choose a color like this, medium gray. Okay. I will change the distance to 0 because it doesn't have any distance, and the size doesn't have to be big because this embroidery is not that thick, so a distance of 3 pixels would be perfect. I use the global light 90%, which is good, it is already there, but if it wouldn't have been, then you would have changed that to 90% global light. And if I click now on OK, you can see that this embroidery looks perfect. I can copy this one again with Ctrl J. I go to Edit, Transform, and then I will flip it horizontal. And with this tool selected, I am using my arrow tools, my arrow buttons on the keyboard. I can move this one to the same location on the other side, and that will give me this unicolor off-white embroidery. So far for this is easy. Now we're going to use a multicolor brush. Well, to do so, I am going to start making the same embroidery, the same print that I did in the unicolor. So I can use white or off-white. Well, I will use normal white. So either click this one or click D, and then you have the normal brush. And now I am going to create a new layer, and on the new layer I am going to make that white brush. There it is. I'm going to duplicate this one with Ctrl J 3 times again, and the lower one with Ctrl I, make invert. Here is my first white base. I'm going to merge this layer, and here this one I will call base. This base now we are going to color. So far so good. So back to here, we'll position it a bit better this way. Okay, duplicate this base, Ctrl J, and we will call this one yellow orange. And in order to make it yellow and orange, I will go to the overlay, the FX blending modes, and I will choose for a gradient overlay. Here it is. Well, I will leave this a bit low so you can exactly see what I'm doing. I will choose an overlay that has yellow and orange in it, like this. Good. I will choose a radial overlay, and now you can see that if I move this around, when this is checked align with layer, I can move these colors around like this. I will choose this orange dot here in the middle, and I will scale it up to 150%. So it is more, the flower is more orange, and this goes a bit to the sides. Okay, fine. You can't see the embroidery anymore. This is flat. This is just a color patch. I'm going to make this more or less transparent. In order to do so, we need to make this into a normal layer that doesn't have any effect in it. So I create a new layer in between the base and the yellow and orange. I go to yellow orange, I right click, and I choose merge down. Here it is, and I need to give it the name again, yellow orange. There we go. And now with this layer selected, I'm going to the blending mode, and here I will choose color. It is out of the screen on the bottom of the list, but I will give it color. And now you can see, oh, it looks much better now. It has color. Well, this is for the flower, and now I want to give the leaves a sort of green color like the base had. So I go back to the base, I duplicate the base again, I drag the base over the yellow-orange, I will call it green, and I will give this a green color. So going to the blending modes here, say color overlay, and I will choose a color that is more or less this green. Let's have a look how this looks. Good. Now you see everything is green, and that is not what we want. So I'm going to create a new layer in between, and I'll merge the green ones down. Green again. And again I'm going to give this one the color mode. You see that it has also colored the flower now, and in order to change that I need to start using my eraser tool. I will choose a brush, very soft brush, and keep the hardness at, let's say, 89-90%. There. The bigger the brush, the more you erase, of course. I use my pen tablet for this. You can do it with the mouse, but you need to be a bit handy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the flower. See what I do? I just go over the flower and I remove the flower. Here this flower can be removed in total. See? And now I have a patch that has the yellow-orange in it and the colors that match that match the base. And what I could do is select these three. Oh, I will give this one the same drop shadow that I did in the other one. So use the drop shadow again, take this, make it a light drop shadow like this, very light. Okay, no distance and a size of 3, and that should do. And this gives it a little bit more of distance from the dress. And again, I can use these 3 together. I'm not going to merge them, I'm just going to duplicate the layers and go into Edit, Transform and Flip Horizontal, and then with my selection tool and my arrow buttons I will move this one to the other breast, make sure that it has the same distance, and then I have created a colorful brush. Thank you for watching this tutorial.